Hello everybody, I have returned from hiatus. This video of course is going to be about fixing random issues on my Rover 75 Part 5 and also doing what I call a super minor service. So that'll involve a few things which we'll get to in a moment, but if you're not subscribed, please make sure to do so. Just help me out and you get to see more of this when I'm not having an operation or somebody's dying. So in this one, well, just first about me, I've had a septoplasty and like a sinus surgery. So I might sound a bit weird, but that's fine. You'll be able to cope, I'm sure. But yeah, I've basically been off for like 2 weeks and not been able to do anything hardly, working from home, so crap. But thank God we're back. I did film half of this before the surgery and the other half is being filmed after, so you might have to bear with me. So in this one, I've noticed a few issues with the car. Now, one thing I've noticed the engine sort of is making a lot of movement. Now, that can usually be attributed to the lower engine mount, which I'm going to replace in this video. I'm also going to clean out the intake manifold, because that always gets sludged up in the EGR. We're also going to replace the PCV filter. We're going to do an oil change, an oil filter change. We're going to clean the air filter as well, because I've got one of those pipe cross lifetimes and they're absolutely brilliant. I would recommend that to anybody who has one of these, or even a BMW M47 or M57 diesel. And we're also going to do a few other things, a few little tune-ups, and I'm going to show you a few of the random issues that I've encountered, because at this stage in the game, after 4.5 years, there isn't really a lot to get to. And if you want to see the other videos in this series, link on the screen right now. There's a big there's loads of videos on this car and loads of videos on me fixing random problems with it, but at this point there isn't really that many problems anymore, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's get right into it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the oil. The first thing we've got to do is take off the under tray. Now, this is a good opportunity to give it a good shake as well and get any of the dirt and detritus it's decided to pick up on your many journeys. Oh God, we missed! But we got it straight in the end. There we go. Now we just let that drain out. Nice sludge. Let that sucker all drain out, and then we'll put our new oil in. This is where I forgot to buy oil. You imagine what a stupid thing to do. So here we are filling the oil up in the car. So it's not particularly interesting, but come on. We've just got to have a quick chat here about how I've owned this car for 4 and a bit years, going on 5 years next April, and I am not at one bit bored of it. I don't want to get rid of it. I love seeing the miles climb, but you know, it depresses me a bit, because you kind of sit there and think, oh, is there a limit to this? There's some dudes with 300,000 miles on their cars and they still love them. She's feeling a tiny bit tired now in some respects, so I think there is a bit of an interior overhaul that's going to definitely be happening in the next couple of weeks or months. This car has been fantastic. I've said this multiple times. I am literally the youth ambassador to Rover 75s. I think this car's amazing, and I just think it's just a great car. In general, it's been fantastic. The memories, the people that I've met with it, it's just those inescapable things. And just let me know in the comments if you've ever had a car like this, or if you feel the same about your lovely Rover 75 or MGZT. So now that we've finished that oil and we've wiped it off with a rag, we now need to take off the engine cover so we can get to the inlet manifold, the big plastic inlet manifold, and get that cleaned up with some EGR/intake cleaner and clean the EGR valve up as well. Pretty easy task, this one. Just the bolts are a bit weird to get to, especially the two either side. So here we are. It's got a few bits of crap in it, but it's not too bad, to be honest with you. This was obviously sorted out by Arctic a few years ago. I just basically want to just wang some intake cleaner in it and just get it so it's not a mess. So that's what we're going to do. and see what crap we've got. Oh, Jesus. I didn't expect that. That's a lot of crap. But yeah, you got to think that's bunking up all of my intake. Let's give it a good clean off and let it go. Once we've tipped it out again. Right, and let's lift her up again. Tip her into the sludge. See in there, got a lot of crap. But that's good, because it's now getting clearer. So now that we've done that, I'm going to let that dry off. You can see it's a lot cleaner already, and obviously we have that bit of a boo-boo there, but that's all soot. So I'm going to just have a see if there's anything else. So here we are, we're doing my annual sort of spruce up. So a lot of people use LanoGuard and things like that. I use a similar product. I think it's Tetraseal that I use on this. So I use it on the front subframe. I also tend to clean out any of the dirt and everything underneath. So our next part, while we're waiting for all that to dry and waiting for the inlet manifold to dry, is take the bottom engine mount off. Now this was an absolute bugger to do. And there was a lot of shouting and a near cry, because once you've taken it off, the engine obviously swings forward ever so slightly. So you've got to use a breaker bar to push the whole engine forward so it gets in that gets back in that mount that you can see me on doing there. It's an absolute pig doing it by yourself, but to be honest with you, I'm glad I did it. Post surgery, do I think I could do this immediately? No. I'd probably die under the car. But thank God I did it beforehand, because this was an absolute pain in the arse to do. You can see the taking off isn't the bad bit, it's the getting it back on. And I don't know how some people have managed this by themselves. I did eventually manage it, but it was a lot of shouting and a lot of I have to go somewhere, because I was obviously going to be going to visit my mum's house after this, and sort of for the last time before the surgery, and I had to have this sucker ready because we're off to Hemswell Market car boot, which is a fantastic car boot, by the way. We had a bit of like a just to tell you the story of that one. We had some dudes come up to us. We got there at 6 o'clock nearly, and it was like, oh, it's open for traders at 6:30. Obviously, we just had a few bits that we just wanted to get rid of, and we wanted the car boot experience, because what's more, what's cooler than that? I absolutely love car boots. So we got there, and it was packed at like 6 a.m. So these dudes must have been up at like frigging 4 a.m. and got there at 5. It was crazy. They were all set up and everything. So, and then we got there. People were buying stuff off us. I didn't think it was open to the public. Of course, what they did is they bought them all off us and sold them on other stores. I know, right? Absolute cheek of it. But to be honest with you, we were only there for a bit of a laugh to see how it is. I love Hemswell Market. It's the best. And I've always wanted to sort of be a trader there. So we sold a few random things, knick-knacks and stuff and doohickeys. And yeah, it was pretty good. And this car sailed us there with that new engine mount and the new service. So it's absolutely brilliant. So you can see there, I'm moving it forward and it'll be installed now. So finally got it in. It took 2 people and a lot of shouting. We're here. God damn it, Simone. I don't know how you did this by yourself. There we go. So this naturally is in. Nice new one. Jesus Christ. There we are. Ooh. Hopefully that stops the infernal rocking. So yeah, that's that. Very nice. So another thing with this car is we've noticed there's been a few little electrical gremlins. So for example, saying that a light's out when it's not, saying that we have an airbag out when we don't, etc. So one of the main the earthing points for the fuse box in the car is this. So you're going to want to clean that up. If you have any random electrical issues, clean that up. Clean, as you can see there, clean where it contacts the rest of the car, this front scuttle, and clean where it or the front bumper thingy, and then clean obviously where it contacts the actual fuse box, and that should solve a lot of problems. So here we are, the last bit. The PCV filter is here, so we need to get that off. Oh shit. I sympathise with any of you guys that have had this surgery, by the way, or anything similar, or anything really like a surgery or something, because it is absolutely stupid. You just kind of don't feel yourself for ages. I mean, you see, I'm usually pretty good at this whole taking plastic covers off, but at the minute I just kind of can't really understand how to do it. But yeah, you take this off. Here we go. So 2 brilliant things from Halfords. This punch and this. Stick it in there, do that, it gets it out. Yeah. Improvising. I'm like a scientist. That's the sort of thinking that did take us to the moon, ladies and gents. As you can see, we're coming up now. We're nearly there. I'll zoom this bit along because you're probably going to be bored. There we go. So here we are. Now we can see our air filter, which has done a damn good job of catching these irritating things that go all over my drive. And we've got access to the 2 little security bolts for the PCV filter, so we can take those off. This, as you probably already know, simply just, I think it just slides up and out. Yeah, it does. Easy peasy. Yeah, you can see that that's been doing its job. Lots of insect wings and lots of things, I wish. But yeah, very interesting little thing. It's a cool little filter, this. But basically all you've got to do is spray it and brush it off, which I will do shortly. But it's nice to know that it's been doing its job. Next thing on our list is this PCV filter. So I've never done one of these before myself. It's the whole unit, so it's all of this. So it's this and this. God damn it. I thought I knew what I was on about. I guess I don't. But that's why you watch me, because I don't really know what I'm talking about. We sort of all learn as we go. But yeah, that probably lift up now. Yep, there we go. We've got to remove this. This is for the injectors. So, for the love of God, don't get it wrong. You get, basically, it'll just be these security things. It'll probably just lift off and move forward out the way off of these little stands, and then yeah, good to go. But I'm gonna show you this before, and then I will clean it off, and we'll be back. As some of you already know, I do those informational videos where I haven't done one in a long time. Those will be returning, but it's more, do you guys want me to research other topics, like for example the whole ULEZ thing? Now, Rich Person's Paradise, also known as London, well it didn't used to be, but it is now, of course it's expanded the ULEZ to literally the M25, so that makes a lot of normal folk like you and me have to pay £12.50 a day to drive a car in London, which is, one, why would you want to drive in London anyway? But imagine if you lived there and owned a car like this, you would have to get rid of it, because nobody can afford that. And we understand it's all to get you to scrap your cars, but scrap your car for what? Some thing that some African children have died in a mine for? So, you know, to mine some lithium. Basically, you know, that's about as bad as blood diamonds and pollutes just an incredible amount when it is mined. But of course this isn't an informational video. I just think it's absolutely preposterous, and if you'd like me to make that video, let me know, because I personally love to. In fact, I'm going to make it anyway, so stay tuned for that one. But I just think the way the world at the minute is very concerning, and unfortunately it ain't getting better unless the people try to make it better. And I ain't encouraging anybody, but there's been some epic work done over the past couple of days since that announcement was made. So yeah, now you can see here we're getting it off. I just need to kind of pry it, and there you are. Here's your whole assembly. You can see there, that's what an old one looks like. You've just got that there, and let's just grab the new one. You can see what that looks like, but it's covered in gunk, oil. It's the PCV filter. Yeah, it gets covered in crap basically. So I'll get you that new one, and then we'll swap it. I'll show you how to swap it out. So now what you've got to do is sort of deconstruct it. There's a little slidey bit that goes there that retains the original filter in place. You then grab the filter, take it out. You usually don't do it with bare hands. I'm just a dickhead, so I do everything with bare hands. There you go. There's your old filter on the right, and your new filter on the left. Now, yeah, you can see that one's definitely well used, and it's absolutely sodden with oil. So you've also got some rubber seals that you need to replace. Now, these usually end up getting stuck in the actual... Stuck in the assembly? Yeah, they are. So you've got to replace these seals as well. They're basically stuck in the you know, in the bit that it goes into, a bit that this cartridge slots into. So you stick that back in there. Doesn't really need to be lined up like that, but I'm an idiot, so I do everything weirdly. Do that. I wish there was a way to clean this off, but it doesn't appear there is. But this is incredibly important. You at least do this once every 2 years, depending on, of course, how much you drive your car. You've got one that goes there, one that goes... This is like one of them shape things that you would when you were a kid. Oh god, where does this one go? It goes here like this or something. Yeah, it goes like that. But they actually slot into the you know, the what you call it, the engine bit itself. So let's go have a look at that. And we'll put these new filters in. We'll put these new gaskets in, and then we'll stick the filters back together. There we go. Yeah, so you can see them on that. I think they have a little tab system in them. Just a note with this as well, before you stick that in, the little rubber gasket, that's what goes on here. And then you stick this in, like I showed you earlier, and you stick this in. And then there you go. So now we've replaced all these seals, we can then install it again. So you'll see just here, there's like a little tab. You basically grab on that and pull it up, and there is your old thingy, your old bit of rubber. And then you can get your new one. So that was this one. It's matching shapes on a car with Tom. You get your new one. You can simply just stick it in there by threading it through there. Now, if you paid any attention, which I clearly didn't pay any attention to my previous actions, the tab goes like that. So it goes like this, and then you slot it in there. So I'll do that, and I'll be back to you in a sec. Yeah, so anyway, while we put this all back together, because we've done what we need to do, you sometimes do think, don't you? Oh, hello. So yeah, while we put this all back together, you do sometimes think, has the world gone mad, or have I? You know, these valuable skills that we have, like this, there might not be any value in it, and that's sad. Yeah, we live in such a throwaway sort of society. And that's another thing why I've sort of refrained from doing the whole buying car things, because I don't want to do classic car consumerism. And now, to each their own, do whatever you want for your own content, but I would rather not get Mr. Beastified, where it's, I've just bought a blah 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 for £200, and we just rinse through things. I understand it's for entertainment purposes, and who knows, I might go do that, but I've tried that and it didn't really sit well with me. The Maestro was supposed to be that. It was supposed to be this car that I sort of rinsed through. I got that, kept it for a month, but I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the community. And I think that's the issue with me, is I'm not the sort of person who sort of goes through things fairly fast. And there's people, of course, on YouTube that do it as part of their job, and that's fine. But you know, you get a lot of people that just kind of sort of piss money on these cars and rinse through them, and then we're in a situation where everybody just thinks that they need to do that as well. We don't all need to own everything that we'd ever wanted. We don't all need to sit there and buy everything that we want. But yeah, maybe I'm the mad one, I guess. But we're kind of at that point, aren't we? So another cool thing, I'll grab you here. Oh, there's a BMW logo there. Crazy. You can see it. Oh no, you can't. It's just there. But yeah, now we've got to treat our air filter again. Now we can put all this back together. See, we've got all the bits laid out there. Not a bad job, this one, to be quite frank. So we're doing this, and then our Bugs is making a cameo. This is our new cat. He's called Bugler, and he's a very cute little thing. But yeah, we're currently drying this. I really need to get my garden done. It's been a bit painful not being able to do things for a couple of weeks, but hey ho. Here we are. We've done the treatment. We've tread it like a pair of knickers, and we've sprayed it. Why did I say that? We've sprayed it with the additive. So there we are. We're gonna just wait for that to dry, as directed by the manual. So one of the things about owning these cars is you notice these inherent little weak spots when you've owned them for a while. For example, this here, get a bit of tape on that, it rubs on the bonnet, and it can then leak all your refrigerant out. And then there's a few other random things as well, like this here rubbing against those, but that's not really a problem because that's just its intake. And you've also got, there's another one as well somewhere under here where it rubs quite badly. There it is, that rubbing against your battery tray, and this, you don't want that. You can see where it's been rubbing as well. Obviously that's your fuel pump, or is it? Yeah, I think that is. Obviously this goes to here, that's one of your fuel lines, so you don't want that. That's another weak spot. But there's this, which is the coolant send or receive pipe for the little heat exchanger in there for the heating. This, you can see here, has been rubbing. So you want to get a bit of tape on that, because the last thing you want is to be driving around and then this sucker just blows up and sharts all your coolant everywhere. There's loads of these little tiny spots, such as that, such as this, such as that, and a few other things like the rear light seals, the rear number plate light, and all these random problems, especially with these older auto diesels. There's a random issue with the the cooler for the automatic gearbox fluid. So you just need to keep an eye on these things, and when you're doing these things yourself, or if you're having a specialist do them, you can have, you know, these things checked, and I think that's fabulous. So just a quick one, I'm going to stick a bit of tape on there that's not going to explode or combust, so we can not lose all of our coolant one day. We're now done with the engine, so that's perfect. So we've done all that, we've replaced the PCV filter, we've changed the oil, we've done loads of stuff. So that, I think, is that. So let's just, oh Jesus, remember, always check for tools. Also, top tip, put that screw in first, then do that one, then do that one. It just goes together so much easier. Also, there's only two there, one at the back. But yeah, we're doing pretty well with this engine. I think we're on 160k now, and it just has never missed a beat in terms of engine wise anyway. Of course, we've had the crank pulley and all that sort of stuff. That's probably come from my house. Yeah, we're not doing too bad, are we? Just for a 22-year-old Rover, not too bad at all. Another random problem, if you've got a partner like mine that smashes your boot closed, you'll see these two up here. That's the they go to your rear number plate lights. So what you need to do is blob a bit of glue on there, and then those should be held in place. So if anybody slams the living daylights at your boot, you won't have to keep doing what I'm doing, which is ruin my carpet a little bit. But yeah, do that, that'll solve that random issue out. A lot of people don't know where the hell that comes from. It happens to them and they're like, oh no, why has that just failed? No, it's because everybody slams the boot, or people pick this up by that, you pick it up by there. It really irritates me when people do that and then snap it off, because there's only some like captive screws in there to hold it all together. So that is it, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this sort of super minor plus winterization plus random 75 issues video. So we've done the PCV filter, the oil filter change, we've done the air filter as well, we've sorted that out. We've also generally cleaned up the inlet manifold and the EGR as well. We've taken all the rust off the front subframe, front suspension components and the rear. So the rear is more or less fine anyway. And winterized it with a bit of wax oil coating. And we've done a few other things, such as sort out the random issues that we have, such as the number plate lights and the random hoses rubbing together. These are the sorts of things that you do find, and I'm happy that I found them before you found them the hard way, or I found them the hard way. But we should be back on form fairly shortly, because as you can see, this has been quite difficult. It's taken a bit of a toll on me, but we've just got to get back up to speed. So hopefully no more surgeries or anything planned, I don't think. But we are well on our way with the lovely Rover 75 over there, and with this here. Other great news as well, Cortina is doing very, very well, and the SD1, the source of a lot of comments, which I understand as well. The SD1 has been a bit of a challenge because driving to Scunthorpe every weekend is kind of not doable, especially when the fuel prices went to £2 a litre. So the SD1 is going to be brought here. This is going to be going away because it's going to go into a cherished classic car place for the winter, and I'll be doing that in conjunction with that. So that's two projects on at the same time, as well as there is some stuff to do on the 75 still, so stay tuned for that. More stuff will be coming as well, the video I mentioned before, and we're kind of going to start ramping things up because I really, really enjoy doing this, and I've really missed it, and it's been a bit painful just sort of laying in bed for a whole week and then being unable to do anything for the subsequent week after and the few days after that. So when this is uploaded, it'll probably be on a Tuesday, so stay tuned for another video. The following week it will be one of the bigger ones, and stay tuned for an update on that project. Thank you for watching. Keep watching. Remember to subscribe for more of this, and drop me a comment below. Is there anything I missed, anything that you would do or add to this Rover 75 super minor service? Cheers guys, and I'll see you later.